Welcome everyone. In this video, we will learn this call external API in very detail. This API can call any API of or any third-party APIs. It can take a value from payload, header or output of any API and set in other APIs. And you can call APIs in parallel or sequential or in any combination of parallel or sequential. We'll see all these things in detail one by one. For now, this is one simple API of getting token of itself. We are passing this body. Our auth token type is API maker and username and password is default and 12345. When we hit that, we'll get that data in return. This is the entire response object with status. These are the response headers and this is the body of the response. Here inside that we have data and inside that we have token. Now let's call getAllAPI. So our API is this one. So this is user path, instance, database and collection, and simple get API will get the data. We'll send that and collapsing the first object. We are getting 401 and the error is we need to pass this XAM authorization token. So for that, let's create one headers object and our token is inside the output of the first API. So for that, to take the output we need ID here. We'll give this ID. Now we'll take a value from output of this API. So for that we can do pre-process. So pre-process is array and array will have objects. Now here we can pass from and to. In from we'll take this ID. We want to get data from this ID. After that, output of this object, and inside the output, this first block, this first object is the output of this API call. So the ID of that, inside that output, and inside that output we have body.data.token. So body.data.token, and that value we want to set inside the ID. So inside this one, and inside the headers we want to set, and in headers we want set value of this XAM authorization. So that will put it here. So before executing this API, it will pre-process this block and it will take a value from this token and it will set into this path. So at the end, this token will be set here with this property XAM authorization. Now we'll send that, and in a second object we are getting now 200, and in a body we are getting all the cities of the inventory. So this is how you can get the value from one API and set value in any API. Let's say if we have 5 or 10 more API calls, we can get from any API and we can set into any API. We can get from, this time we got from output, but here we can get from body also, or we can get method, we can get URL, anything we want of this object, we can simply get it here. And we can set in any API call also. Execution of these payload is like this. First it will pick up this block, it will execute that and get the value and put it inside the output, and after that it will proceed further. After that it will execute this block and get the output and put it inside the output. So these two blocks are sequential. But now let's say after getting the token, we want to get list of all cities, all states and all countries. But those API calls we want to make it parallel. So in that case, we'll cut this, we'll create a new object, we'll say type is parallel and data is array. We'll paste that and this time get all cities, let's say get all cities, and we are getting cities. We'll first hit that, let's see the output. Yes, we are getting array in a return and output is 200. Now copy this object again. This time we'll get states. So get all states, here states and here states. Now copy this object. We'll get all countries, copy, paste, and here countries. We'll execute that and we got the array and all these APIs called in parallel, and we got 200 in all of them. All of them took a token from first call, and after that system executed these objects in parallel and got the output. Now let's copy entire object. We'll paste that and this time let's make it sequential. So this block will be executed parallel, but this data array will be executed one by one. So this is parallel execution array and this is sequential execution array. Now we are getting 401 because we need to provide this ID as a unique. So let's make it 2, 2. Let's make it 2. And we got the 200. So make sure you are passing these IDs as a unique for each request. Okay, now we can also go in a nested level. Let's say inside the parallel call, we want to go in a sequential manner also, like this. So the first three, all of them are parallel, but inside this parallel request, we have some sequential call. So that you can also do. But let's make this as a 3 and the first object, this is our second object, third object of countries, and we got the data. Now this is our parallel first, second, countries, third one, and inside that we have one sequential section, which is this one, so it is array, so we got the array in return, and inside that we have 3 API calls. So sequential and parallel combination you can make as you like. So in short, entire dashboard you can get in one API call. So you will get all the data instantly and you can just fill up and display in a UI. Let's see one more example. Here we are passing one array. In a first object we are getting the token and our second object is a sequential API call. So after executing first one, it will execute the second one, and even in the second one we have these API calls in a one by one manner. Now first block is saving the country. So this is the API endpoint for that. Countries save single or multiple. This is post API, and inside the headers it will do pre-process and get the token from this get token request ID. So it will get the token and it will set it. Now this is the body payload for saving the country. And after the saving the country, it is doing some post processing. In a post process, it will pick up the value from this ID, output, body, data and ID. So basically it is taking ID of saved country and it is putting inside the save state. So the second object is save state. So it will put inside the save state body and country ID. So it will be put up here. No need to keep this field here, but so we can know that it will be placed here just for that purpose. And in a pre-process, it will again get the headers and set here. And in a post process, the saved state ID will be added inside the city. So it will be added here. Save city, body and state ID here. And pre-process, it will get the token, but in a post process we don't need anything. So in short, it will save the country, set the ID in save state, and it will save the state and set the ID in save city, and it will save the city. Let's hit the API. So first object we got the token, and in an array we got the saved country ID is 31. That ID was added in state. So we got the country ID 31 and state ID is 35. That 35 ID was added inside the city. So state ID is 35 and we got the new city ID. So this type of combinations you can make on n number of depth and n number of sequential or parallel form.